traditionally, this is where the diesel engine's going to be housed. Well, you don't see a diesel engine in this guy.
According to the new administration of Governor Tim Walz, Minnesota's transportation future is electric.
These kind of containers here are where the battery cells are actually stored.
Now at this point, we've all seen electric cars, but this year our public transportation fleet is starting the transition as well.
This vehicle will eliminate probably around 150 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions every year.
This bus, which was built right in St. Cloud, is the first Metro Transit all-electric model, and it will serve the new C line opening June 8th of this year.
All right, excuse us guys, we're going to hop on and show them the inside of the bus.
Inside, it still looks an awful lot like, well, a bus, although there are a few contemporary touches.
So here's an example in this jump seat, but we also have USB charging ports.
Oh, look at that down there.
We also learned that this overall technology is still evolving, and there are a few non-electric components, perhaps unique to Minnesota.
We do have an auxiliary diesel heater on board, so when we get to those coldest days, just came out of the polar vortex, on those days we're able to use that to supplement the regular electrical heat that the bus can generate.
Inside the service garage, which is a truly impressive operation, we learned that Metro Transit is confident their maintenance infrastructure can handle whatever comes next.
So the really cool thing is that what's changed about this is how it moves down the road. The rest of it, it's a bus.
In theory, it's here, in high-volume facilities like this, that the state will start to realize some savings. Because, put simply, electric motors are a lot less complicated than combustion engines.
The electric motors that they have are able to run for a long time. Probably, we're expecting that they're going to outlive the bus.
We also saw with our own eyes just how many buses we'll need to buy to fully realize this transition. And it's a lot, over 900 across the metro.
Look down there. Look over here, you get a sense of the scale of this operation. My goodness.
And so this is a level 2 plug right here.
On the private side of the equation, you know, the vehicle you have in your own garage, the state is trying to make it as easy as possible for you to purchase an EV yourself. And there are several state agencies taking on a portion of this work.
We know that electric vehicles are coming, and we know that they're going to influence how people move around Minnesota. And so we want to be a part of that.
We use a grant-making process to distribute funds for EV charging infrastructure across the state, and those funds are matched by private sector dollars. So, right, it's kind of that partnership. It's that public-private partnership where a little bit of money from the state goes a long way.
It is kind of a chicken and egg issue. There's relatively few EVs on the road. We need the chargers for people to buy the EVs, but it is harder to make the business case without some support for the private sector to operate these things with low usage.
Brendan Jordan is the one exception here. He's not a state employee. He's a vice president at the Great Plains Institute, a nonprofit policy organization that's been promoting an electric future for more than 20 years.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know, there's only about 7,000 electric vehicles registered in the state today, but the costs are dropping rapidly. And I think we're right at the point where we're a little nudge from state government in terms of some supportive policy could help that expand.
One key idea throughout this work, which was repeated by almost everyone we spoke with, is that the current model of state financial support for EV technology, it's meant to be temporary.
In the early days, you start with a lot of government investment in research and development. Over time, the private sector should be able to handle it just fine.
A second important theme, at least from a political point of view, is that the Walz administration isn't hiding one of its big motivations for this work.
We in Minnesota are taking a lead on carbon reductions and addressing climate change. At the same time, we're improving people's mobility.
These two words, climate change, haven't always been repeated so openly in St. Paul. And it's telling that the Walz administration doesn't appear to see a risk in invoking it.
I think one of the real driving forces behind this push from the state towards electrification is that we're facing a climate crisis. As climate change accelerates, that's going to further the damage to our roadways and cost us more. So if we can do things to help mitigate those emissions, that actually there's another financial benefit there.
Altogether, this brings us back to Caitlin Bachland.
The great thing about electric vehicles is you don't have to worry about them not starting in the cold.
Caitlin may be an early adopter, but ultimately she's exactly the type of person the Walz administration wants to support. And increasingly, no matter how she decides to get around town, it's going to be a bunch of batteries that are taking her there.
I think electric vehicles are the way of the future, and I think as soon as you get your butt in a seat, you're going to be really excited and you're going to want to drive one.